Hi, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss a problem solution question. So this problem solution question here, we do have two parts. The first part is the statement part in which the topic is addressed. Overpopulation of urban areas has led to numerous problems. So we are going to deal with increasing population in urban areas. So the topic is very clear. Overpopulation of urban areas has led to numerous problems. Now, let us go ahead with the question part. Identify one or two serious ones and suggest ways that governments and individuals can tackle these problems. You can identify one or two serious problems. So serious ones in the sense serious problems. Identify, it means you need to prioritize one or two topmost problems, pressing problems. So this is your first task. Identify one or two serious problems. The second question here is suggest ways that governments and individuals can tackle these problems. In what ways governments and individuals can tackle these problems? This is what the second question is. So we do have two questions there. The first question is identify one or two serious problems that overpopulation in cities can cause. The second question is you have to suggest solutions by the governments and individuals. So you have to address both the cases, that is the governments and the individuals, both the cases. So you not only requires to suggest ways that government should adopt, you need to suggest ways that individuals can adopt to this situation. So this is what this thing is. Now, once we have identified this particular question, so we have identified the topic. This is the topic, overpopulation in cities has led to numerous problems. We have understood the question number one, identify one or two serious problems. Question number two, suggest ways that governments and individuals can tackle these problems. Now, we are moving into the answer. So as far as the introduction is concerned, you have to address the topic, that is this thing, overpopulation in cities. Let's check whether it is there. Many urban centers are affected by the problem of overswelling of population. Yes, it is there. Two of its bitter issues, along with some ways to solve these, are outlined in the ensuing paragraphs. So this thing is also there. So let us go ahead and see the first particular sentence in the introduction. Many urban areas Many urban areas are affected by the problem of overswelling population. Now, many urban centers are seen overswollen with the So many urban centers exhibit overswollen population statistics today. So I have made the sentence little bit formal and brief. So the first particular sentence is edited. The second sentence is left as it is. That's the reason why I'm leaving it, because two of it bitter issues. They are going ahead with two bitter issues there in the first paragraph, and they're going to say what governments can do in the first paragraph and what individuals can do in the second paragraph, and then that is concluded. So that's it. So we have a perfect introduction here. Now let's go ahead with the first particular task, that is, what are the two problems? Two of its bitter issues. We are going to suggest, we are going to outline two problems, two of the worst problems. The two worst problems, I can say the two pressing issues. So I have already mentioned two issues in the introduction. So I can say the pressing issues. I don't need to say two again. So the pressing issues which can stem from this, from an overpopulated city or social and economic imbalances among its residents. So I made the editing there in the first particular sentence of the paragraph. The pressing issues which can stem from an overpopulated city. Number one are social, number two are economic imbalances. Now we are going ahead with the first problem, turning to the social problems. Turning to the social problems, the first is the increasing demands. Of the city dwellers. So increasing demands of the city dwellers, that's the social problems. For instance, an excessive hike in the population automatically raises. For instance, I can just go ahead, overpopulation automatically raises the demand for food. Automatically raises the demand for food, water, living space, education, health, sanitation, and transport. Yes. So automatically raises the demand for food, water, living space, education. So I just can cancel one. Yes. The authorities might not be always able to avail these facilities in satisfying levels to their population, which results in social unrest. I went with the word dissatisfaction, the social dissatisfaction. So when the governments fail to provide all these facilities to the population, what about food, water, living space, education, health, and transport? In many countries. You can see recently what happens in Sri Lanka is that the government is having problems in meeting the demands of the people. They have electricity shortage, they have petrol shortage, they have food shortage, and there are a lot of problems there. Social unrest, social dissatisfaction. The government has to change. So this is what is happening at present in Sri Lanka. So this is an example, but I'm not focusing, and I'm not writing the country name there, but it has to be said in general. I should not mention any specific country or any specific area, because I am talking in general, in cities in general. So as far as you have to address the topic in a neutral sense, it's okay. Now we have the second thing. So this is what the first thing that we have discussed, that was the social crisis. Now we are going to discuss the second thing, that is the economic crisis. The worst problem of increasing competition of the worst is the problem of increasing competition to find a secure job. So this is what the thing is. The economic crisis is the problem of increasing competition to find a secure job. So many would stay unemployed even after years of completion of their studies. So you have the economic crisis, you have a lot of skilled population there, but at last you find yourself in a problem that even after you have got a university degree or a postgraduate degree, you won't be able to find a satisfactory job in your field, in your respective city. This is what going to happen. And this is what the economic crisis is. This would diminish the demand of workers, and they would be forced to work for lower wages. When a lot of skilled workers are there, see, for example, a lot of engineering graduates are coming out each year. Each academic year, engineering colleges are producing a lot of graduates. So all these graduates are out and they find no job. So they are working in some other industry, some work in the software industry, some work in some hospitality industry. I have seen some working in the hotel industry too. So you can see that these, when they are not getting the job they demand, they have to work, they have to opt for jobs which you think that which satisfy your needs. They have to satisfy with low wages. So this is what you can see in the second part. So there are social problems, there are economic problems too, and that's what we have discussed in the first particular paragraph. The second particular paragraph, we are going to deal with the solutions. So let us go with the solutions here. So what about the solution? When assessing the ways what governments can do to tackle the issue, the best is proper town planning. So you have to have a better town plan. Both the aforementioned problems are seen in higher intensities where cities are not planned. If cities are not planned, social problems and economic problems are seen in higher intensities. Government should have a better vision for the future population and not just for the existing ones. So we have to say that population will be increasing and increasing. So the existing population, the focus should not be just for the existing population. You have to plan things ahead. If you see the city of Dubai, which was constructed, when it was planned, so it was, you know, that they constructed wider roads, they constructed rails, all these things. So they were planning around 40 years or 50 years ahead. So right now they do have a well-connected infrastructure. So they have jobs there, they do satisfy their social needs, they do satisfy their economic needs, even though the existing population is much higher than around 20 years ago. The government, the authority, Dubai authority, is able to tackle these problems of overpopulation because they are planning well ahead. So that was the thing there in the first particular paragraph. The second particular paragraph, let's go with the second paragraph. Individuals, on the other hand, can also play their own role in mitigating the issue. What is the role of individuals? Couples can restrict the number of childbirth in highly populated cities. Parents can help children in molding their career perspectives into less competitive fields. Now, I just cancel off the first particular thing here. I think that is a little bit controversial. This particular thing, couples can restrict the number of childbirths in highly populated cities. It is their individual freedom. It is their personal freedom. So I am not going to suggest that particular thing. I'm just canceling it. But I can go with the second solution. Parents can help children in molding their career perspectives into less competitive fields. Parents can help children. So, you know that if engineering is much demanded profession, so you please don't teach your children engineering. You just go ahead with some other courses. Ask your children to opt for some other things, say for example biotechnology or biochemistry. So these things have much demands these days. Or you can go with medicine or something. So you just need some sorts of alternative. So less competitive fields you have to choose rather than demanding areas. So one, individuals can. So you can say it's difficult if when there are more engineers and fewer drivers, it's difficult to succeed job market. So you can say that if you can see more doctors there in a city and less skilled workers like drivers or some other people who are integral part of the city, so there will be problems. Now multiple job training is essential these days to ease the pressure. So you can go with, say for example, you are if you are training yourself as an engineer, you can try cooking too. Suppose if you are not getting a job as an engineer, you can work as a chef. So multiple job trainings are given by universities these days to ease the pressure of the students who find it difficult to find a job, a satisfying job. So this is the second measure that we can see there. Now, to conclude, the serious concerns which are expected in every city with an uncontrolled population are basically social and economic. However, provided that governments and individuals do their responsibilities in a proper way, I just made a change. However, provided that both governments and individuals act rationally, these crises can be mitigated. So this is what we have said. So the crises are basically social and basically economic. So these crises are can be mitigated, can be solved to a great extent if both governments and individuals act wisely. And this is what. So the introduction, 2-sentence introduction we do have, and the issues are discussed. The two pressing issues, the social and economic issues, are presented in the first big paragraph, and two smaller paragraphs are given. One is the solutions from the part of the government, another is the solution from the part of the individuals, and the whole essay is concluded at the end in just 2 sentences. And this is the end of the explanation here.